You either clear the bar with your motorcycle or you don't. But it's that simplicity that masks a much more complicated exercise in physics right underneath. Of course, as soon as the topic involves math, we at X Games, we get out of the way and we hire an expert. Here now is a look at the physics of step up, and don't worry, none of this will be on the test.
Step up is about to go down.
Someone in the trunk better call for FAA clearance for this guy. I'm almost scared to think of how high they might go today.
The operative physics in step up is that you're fighting against gravity. The goal is to go as high as possible on the bike and then come down. As you're coming down, you're going to feel a force when you hit that landing ramp.
Oh! Diggs with a big hit.
The place a driver is most likely to be injured is on the landing. And so it's very important that when the bike comes down, that both wheels hit the ground at the same time. So if one tire lands before the other tire, it means that a lot of the force is being concentrated in a very small area, and that's going to make for a much rougher landing for the rider.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh, in the shoulder. Looked like maybe his arm popped out of socket.
So if we look at a jump with a maximum height of, say, 25 feet, the rider is about 40% of the mass of the rider and motorcycle combined. So the motorcycle and rider together will experience a force of about 1,200 pounds. The rider himself will experience a force of somewhere around 480 pounds.
The higher they get, the harder they're landing.
So if you change the height of the jump from 25 feet to 35 feet, you change the force the rider and the motorcycle experience from 1,200 pounds to about 2,300 pounds. That changes the force the rider experiences to about 800 pounds.
But here's the problem. Impact.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your math lesson. The translation, it's not easy, and sometimes it can't be fun. But right now, I'm curious at what you think, Cameron Steele. Do you think that the GOAT, Ricky Carmichael, is going to be able to redeem himself from the Moto X World Championships and take out Ronnie Renner, the defending champ, and get his first gold as a rookie?
One-word answer, Sal. Absolutely. I think he has a shot at it, and I really think that this is what he has been thinking about since that Navy Moto X World Championships. I'm joined by Jeremy McGrath, a gold medalist in the step-up, not competing tonight. And, of course, my good buddy Tess Sewell. We're always cohorts together when it comes to freestyle motocross. Jeremy, I start with you. You're not riding tonight. Of course, you had the gold medal at 33 feet 6 inches in 2004. I think the sport, I'm not trying to say it's passed you by, but these guys are going to another level, it seems like. We're seriously talking about a possibility of 40 feet. We're talking about Ricky Carmichael, Ronnie Renner, Tommy Clowers. Where are we going tonight with this thing?
Well, I think obviously what we saw in San Diego was pretty impressive by RC, and I think you're right. I mean, since he got stitched up, I'm sure this is all he's been thinking about. So I'm sure we're going to see some real big heights tonight.
All right, I didn't mean to dog Jeremy McGrath. Okay, he's probably going to slap me around here in just a second. Now, Tess, we're going to get it started. It's a double elimination competition. We're going to start the height at 26 feet. Each rider gets 2 shots at it. And this is our only 2-stroke motorcycle. Why the 2-stroke for Mike Mason?
Well, nicely cleared over the bar there for Mason. Basically, he was called in late as a replacement for Matt Byton. He doesn't have a whole arsenal of bikes there at home in Carson City, so he decided to bring the 2-stroke, and from what we've seen in practice, actually not a really bad idea.
All right, the bad boy from the Metal Militia pulling into the gate. Everybody else riding a 4-stroke. Jeremy, advantage on the 4-stroke. What's the easiest way to tell the people at home why you would want to ride the 4-stroke?
Well, what we've seen in the past is the 4-stroke gets a little bit more traction right from the start. And at Home Depot Center, when we had it there before, it was really dry and slick. So definitely the 4-stroke was a big advantage. I think with Mason riding the 250 tonight, it's pretty wet out there. He's going to get plenty of traction. I'm not sure it's going to be a huge disadvantage.
All right, digging is over. I'm going to pose a question, Jeremy. I don't think we're done seeing you at Step Up, first of all, but if you were out there tonight, you had your druthers, 450 4-stroke, 250 4-stroke, or 250 2-stroke on this particular competition,
You know what? I'd be feeling like I was missing something if I wasn't riding a 450 just because everybody else is. I got caught out a year ago when Ronnie rode the 450 and I switched right after that. So I like 450.
And the guy that actually holds the record for height in an X Games step up, Tommy Clowers, he's riding the 450. So that kind of tells a story if the Tomcat has switched.
And I'm going to say this, at the World Championships, I don't think Tommy Clowers was really switched on at that event. But in practice here today, he has been nailing it. He's been greasing the landing. He's been looking solid. I think Tommy came to really battle it out. And this is the guy everybody's saying is the favorite. I can't disagree after watching him in San Diego. The heights were ridiculous. Ricky Carmichael.
Of course, Ricky's going to clear that real easy.
Would you say 26 feet is child's play?
You know, it's funny when you sit up in the line, even 26 feet looks pretty high. And I mean, these guys are going to get a lot higher than that for sure.
And he decides to come in. He kind of arced it up the face, like he kind of bent it like he was going to go for a whip over the top. Or do you think maybe he just wasn't lined up on the line you wanted?
No, I think what was going on there is I see Ricky in his head maybe preparing for a little Ronnie Renner style.
Getting the whip over the top.
I think he's trying to figure that out because, you know, Ricky's not, before we've known him to go straight. And, you know, Renner's, I mean, cleaned everybody up last time with the big whip.
Here is Ronnie Renner, but the real story about Renner is today he crashed in practice for speed and style, hurt his left shoulder, took a big knock to his chin, so he's not feeling too comfortable. We saw that in practice just a little while ago. He really looks like he hurt.
Jeremy, you were talking about the dirt in the Home Depot Center, and Ronnie got down and chewed on it today. It's probably not a good thing to do. You've actually had a situation with that, too.
Yeah, I mean, I know the deal. And I saw Renner's crash, actually, today in speed and style. He was down on the ground for a while. But as you guys know, for some reason, when you get to an event like that, all that stuff just goes away. So I expect him to do well.
So we're doing a little bit of bar surgery. But this is not something reflecting on Ricky Carmichael's jump because he has cleared successfully. Something happened after. They may not have liked the bend in one of the posts. I see Dane Heron, our course designer and builder, taking one of the poles away, and you can see how simple it is. Tess, you just set it on top, and if you clip it, it's game over.
It's simple until that thing gets up to 35 feet, and then you clip it and knock it off, and those two poor souls have to try and put it back on. And look at this thing. It's styled, the landing this year. It looks like one of those Mexican pyramids you see outside of Mexico City. They've really done a good job in setting this jump up. Steep landing, and let's see how the takeoff holds up.
Clean.
You know, the top of the jump's pretty narrow. Looks pretty pyramid shaped, as we can see. And you know, these guys, once they get going, like on the arc takeoff and doing the whips, I mean, it's going to be probably easy for them to alley-oop off the side. They're going to have to be careful.
Well, the challenge we had in practice is that they were actually going so vertical, they weren't clearing that safety deck, as small as it was, and they weren't hitting the downside, so they asked for it to actually be moved a little bit further back and steep. I wonder if it's going to play later on.
We'll see. Ronnie Renner, the father of two, your gold medalist from last year, up and over, clean. So everybody with a full pole. I heard Sal using that term a little bit earlier. And I also heard the BMXers talking about how the freestyle guys have been stealing tricks from them for years. And I think the freestyle motocross guys were jumping 70-foot gaps first. You know, so I just want to throw it back on them a little bit. Yeah. You know, just a little bit of torture. Let's check in with the fourth member of our broadcast team, hanging out down on the floor. Kimberly Pressler, what's going on?
Guys, I can tell you that the athletes are really excited because this step-up jump happens to be the tallest that Staples has ever seen. It's actually, as you can see, that back landing is 17 feet tall. It's normally about 14 feet, but today in practice, they said that they were hitting the deck a little bit too much. So what they did is they softened it out just a little bit, took some of that off, and now they're hitting the perfect transition, what makes it a lot softer for their landing.
For perspective for everybody there, Kimberly giving you the height of the landing. 12 feet 8 inches is the height of the takeoff, which is pretty darn big when you're facing that, Jeremy. I mean, you've been doing cliff jumps your whole life. Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say one of the most skilled cliff climbers in the world yourself. What's it like when you face that down? It's a little bit different than a cliff, but you get the same aspects of the pop. And, squirrely takeoff for Mason, but he's going to get it.
really big over there. You know, sitting down there at the line, looking at the wall, when the bar's up at 30 feet plus, you just look at it and you're like, man, it's going to be impossible to get over this thing. And with the shape of the jump, the guys do a good job on that, and somehow you get over it. But it's scary looking.
I think what people have to understand, this is unlike a lot of the other events here where we have ramps to take off on. They're consistent. They never change. Every time you hit this takeoff, it changes. A little bit tears away, and your trajectory through the air changes. You saw there, Mason came really close with the front wheel to the bar. That's going to become a problem as that bar gets higher.
Deegan up and over, in case you were sleeping. Once everybody made it through the first height at 26, they moved the bar up 2 feet. And so far, Mason and Deegan have cleared. 5 riders total. Each gets 2 shots at each height.
These guys are going to be really thankful that little bit higher landing. The steeper the landing, once you get going on this thing and you get going really high, the steeper the landing, the better. And what we saw in San Diego was more shaped similar to like a tabletop deck. And with that extra 3 or 4 feet up there, it's going to make that landing really nice.
And you can see Clowers. He's one of those riders that really envisions what he's doing before he does it. You can see him kind of working on the bike. You can see him thinking about it. When he does freestyle, he does the same thing. He basically runs through his run while he's standing still. It's interesting to see that how focused Clowers is when it comes to step up.
Tommy's, I've known him for a long time. He's always been like that. He's a real big thinker. He's a technician out there.
He was close with that front wheel, Jeremy. And speaking of knowing him for a long time, he's a former Supercross racer, and I know, of course, Brian Deegan has won 1 Supercross. Yeah. And just for contrast to that, you've won 72 Supercross, is that right?
Yeah, I won 72. Had a good time doing it, for sure.
Wow. Tommy just so close. It almost looks like...
Seemed like he maybe went half or 3/4 into it. He kind of probably thought that was going to be easy hiking.
So he didn't push it.
You really didn't hear the drive of the bike, I don't think, that time. And he certainly got a lot of power available on hand. He wasn't using it.
He's always been really, really smooth off the line.
Yeah, you just hope that he doesn't go too easy.
And there, Ricky Carmichael, 48 Supercross wins, second of all time. So Ricky Carmichael's got about every record in AMA motocross and Supercross and overall wins. But MC, you got him on the Supercross wins. You like that?
Well, that's the one thing I can
and you have
honestly say that I was better than him at, or have more results than him at.
I like that.
Ricky's the man, and he's I look up to the guy. He's won a lot. He's a hero.
You know what's great about Ricky and yourself? You guys are just personable, fun guys to be around when you're announcing the events. And Renner getting it to the whip. One thing we haven't mentioned about these rules, you have to ride away with your motorcycle for a full completion, which is what bit Carmichael in San Diego. He got up and over the bar, no problem. But when he came down, kissed the handlebars with his chin, and then nibbled on the dirt, he was out.
You do. You've got to go all the way up and over this thing. And if you pull something tricky like Renner is there, there's a chance you're not going to land it smoothly. If you fall, the jump doesn't count no matter if the bar stays on.
Renner definitely has the whip style down.
He's the money man right now. They've cleared 28. Guess what, people? They're going up to 30 feet. Is it getting silly? It absolutely is. Don't go too far away because we're getting crazy at Step Up. Full sunset. X Games 14. Jeremy McGrath hanging out with us. 5 of the best step-up riders in the world in the house, and our only 2-stroke rider going up against the 4-stroke posse over there. Jeremy, what's the real difference?
Well, the difference is 2-stroke's going to feel lighter, and the power is more, I would say it's more like a light switch. I mean, trying to get the power to the ground because it comes on so quickly is a little bit trickier. The 4-stroke's a little bit more like a tractor, really smooth, a lot of grunt.
Did you say tractor?
Yeah.
I like that.
Like a tractor.
Grunting it out.
Obviously, that 2-stroke's working good.
He turned on the light switch.
He did.
That one worked real good.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, he almost turned off the light switch there with that front tire. How close was that thing?
And Mason does not spend a lot of time doing this event. I mean, he's a newbie to the step-up.
Oh, he tagged it. He actually tagged it going over. It looked like it touched.
I don't know.
No? Are you calling me a liar, McGrath?
I was watching
MC?
it right here. I don't think you touched it.
You just called me a liar on television.
I didn't say you're lying.
I thought we were going to be friends. All right. It's going to be like that. I'm going to tell Brian Deegan you said bad things about him. Brian Deegan getting ready to face 30 feet.
Oh, yeah. Oh. See, now that's what I was talking about. You got a little sideways, a little off the lander at the end there.
You know, in the past, I would have said that maybe Brian had mailed in his step-up competitions. You know, I don't think he was totally focused because best trick was kind of his thing and doing all the other stuff around X Games. But this time he said, I really practice. I've built my bike for this. I've geared it for it. And he clips on the way down. Just not enough forward momentum.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
He kind of drifted sideways. It looked like he wasted some of his momentum by going to the left.
Yeah.
We all thought he had it. I mean, it looked so clean, but...
Yeah. You know what? I would have to agree with you on that, Cam. Brian, in the past, you know, we've seen these guys kind of goof off. When I 04, when I first started doing it, they kind of, you know, they weren't that serious about it. And couple guys came in, and obviously Byton stepped up, and it's a little more serious now.
I think that it's definitely a great time to give a shout out to Matt Byton, who is a great champion of the step up, gold medalist, battle to the death of Jeremy McGrath. And the reason why Matt Byton is not here and you're seeing Mike Mason ride is because he has a broken arm actually in his elbow area. Deegan with...
Squeaking over.
All right. Well, it's good. Everybody's in still.
Yeah, everybody gets 2 attempts at each height, so he's used his mulligan for that one. He's taken his second, but he makes it, so through to the next round.
I think he stalls it upon the landing. Did the bike die, Jeremy?
Yeah, it looked like he was coming down a little front end high. He grabbed some brakes, stalled the engine, but you know what? He didn't crash. So
He rolled out of it, let's say.
all good, yeah. Pop the clutch, got to run it again. Like nothing happened.
Perfecto. And speaking of perfection, at times Tommy Clowers has just been beautiful. I must mention 4 gold medals in the step-up competition for Tommy Clowers.
Oh, nice.
Styly.
And you
Like
can
I
see
said, I think he's sneaking up on these guys.
the difference in those two, just analyzing Deegan, he's close on the way down. Tommy's close on the way up. So kind of interesting. Both had the height pretty easy.
Yeah, Tommy looked very smooth on that one. And you know, you see how smooth he came out of the start? I mean, he just really calm, applied the power as he went up the face. I mean, you know, like I said, he's pretty thought about it a lot.
Hi, Ricky.
Yeah, very high, Ricky.
I think he was 35 feet probably.
Oh,
there.
easy. I mean, he was so high. And again, people at home, just think. Take a motorcycle and ride it out of a 3rd-story window, and that's what Ricky Carmichael just did.
I like the whip. I think wow, he might be 8 feet over the top of that thing.
Looking good.
We're at 30 now. Do you think we can get to 40, Jeremy?
You know, it's going to be hard pressed. These guys going up 2 feet at a time. I mean, it gets harder and harder. You got the height is probably no problem, but getting the distance will be trouble.
Looks like Renner had almost like a stall on the run-in, but maybe part of his setup. Go and load the suspension going in.
Listen, Renner's been practicing this a lot, too. He's got it dialed.
Saturday night, the latest crop of NFL standouts is inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Watch live as Art Monk, Darrell Green, Fred Dean, Andre Tippett, Gary Zimmerman, and Emmett Thomas are enshrined in Canton. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction tomorrow night, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Now, Jeremy, speaking of Hall of Fame, there's a Moto Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, AMA Hall of Fame, yeah.
You rocking in that thing already, or you haven't been retired long enough?
Yeah, actually, I have a bronze statue. It's pretty sweet.
Nice. Here is the history, Moto X step-up medal history. This is pretty Hall of Fame status right here. And Jeremy, they're giving you the 33 feet, but you know, true to form, it was 33 feet 6 inches. Let's not short it, right?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, that was one of the most incredible battles I've ever had with Byton. That was awesome.
You go through your whole career, I don't know how many seasons in Supercross, and you battle it out, you dominate quite a bit, and then you come to the X Games with some kid you never even met before. You battle with them. Mason squirrely on the takeoff. Oh. This is where the two-stroke, I think, is a problem. He knows he's got to get a solid run in, and it looks like breaks the tire free. The bike kind of warbles out of position on him, and he doesn't get the drive into it.
Yeah, if you don't get off the line, that's what happens. You come into the face, you don't have the power if you make the mistake right on the takeoff, and that's where the four-stroke can carry you to those heights.
And you can see the vicious impacts upon the landing. The takeoff wasn't as squirrely as I had initially said, but he definitely had his foot out for balance there a little bit. I don't think he was able to get all the way into it.
And the guys are trying to get this pole back on every year. Two of the tallest people we have on the crew actually take this job, as Pine Jeff doing their very best to get the pole back on.
There.
Now they got to pull the pole out to the side. The fans love it. When we used to do events and we were doing the live call, I used to make it kind of a game show fun thing to torture those poor guys.
Yeah.
They were putting up the poles. Now we've taken it to national television. We can abuse them, and their families can watch at home.
There they go. Is that bar going to stay on there?
It is. It looks good. It's got a little bit of a wave to it up there.
Come on, get it. Get it.
I don't think he's got it.
Oh, okay, what I was going to say about this is, you know, you get on the line there, and you know it's similar to a golf shot, right? You want to get back to that ball as fast as you possibly can, which is not necessarily great, right? You're supposed to have that good tempo, which we see out of Tommy Clowers. Now, Mason was at the line. He was probably pretty excited, wanted to take off there, and then just made a mistake.
And he really did just, he kind of pushed himself into that. He should have just taken that breath. Like you said, Tommy is famous for that.
Yeah.
But now, Mason, if you see this now, he is listed as missed. So he is out of the competition so long as someone else gets over there. So one of these other guys needs to get over for Mason to actually be out of the competition, and then he'll go home and play a lot of Guitar Hero because he definitely rocks at that.
That's right.
He looks like a rock star with all the tattoos. And Marisa Deegan, the family hanging out, and also
the Metal Militia on the side.
Yeah, the militia there, and Lauren Lust, Jeremy Lust's wife, hanging out there as well, and Jeremy last night with the silver medal and best trick with the really double grab heart attack. Are you kidding me?
Double grab heart attack.
Stay out of that guy's way. And he is qualified for the freestyle final. We're going to be seeing more Moto X tomorrow when we get down and dirty at the Home Depot Center. And right now, trying to get the bar into place for Deegan's attempt number 2.
This is attempt 1.
Sorry, hello. I'm paying attention.
Mason just missed his second. Deegan's first attempt at 32 feet here.
And Mason, of course, on the bubble. So if Deegan gets over in either one of these two attempts, it's bye-bye Mike Mason.
Mason is safe for now, but Deegan walking out the plank, right?
Yeah, you know, this is where the whip style comes in pretty handy because you alley-oop the front end over. Now, Brian looked like he dropped the front a little too soon and hit it on the way up. And you know, it's a fine line. You gotta keep the front high enough, and then once you get up high enough, you gotta hit the brakes, get the bike leveled out, and then try and eke it over the distance. And
now, I might say this, but if you tell Brian, he might beat me up. But you're a bike finesse guy, Jeremy, and I really believe Renner's a finesse guy, and Ricky has learned that, become that. Brian, through his career, has been more of a guy, I'm not going to say he doesn't have finesse, but he doesn't have the floaty touch, and that might be what you're talking about. He's not able to get that floaty kind of whip driving over the top of that.
Yeah, it's just a question of kind of believing you're going to do it. Obviously, it's a timing issue. You know, Brian's certainly one of the legends for sure in freestyle motocross, and obviously Step Up, he's been here a long time too, so we'll see what happens.
So again, Brian, we're just talking about it. Instead of trying to whip over the top, he goes for the straight. He barely missed it, but the bad news is he's missed, but still
not out.
Right.
He is actually, for the moment, he's safe, but Let's look at who's following. Flowers, Carmichael, and Renner yet to come. The finesse guys, and they know how to whip it up the face. They can actually carve up this thing. The real question is whether the ruts that are in the face right now will allow them to do that. I think it's still looking pretty clean.
Well, one thing I will say about Flowers, when it comes to cliffs in Ocotillo Wells or any place you want to set a vertical wall up in front of somebody, you know, we can sit there and look at it for a few minutes and, like, debate it. The Tomcat just looks over there at you guys and just goes, hey, can you get out of my way, please?
Yeah, exactly. And then he'll do it and go, oh, it's easy. Tomcat spent a lot of time in Palm Avenue down in San Diego when he was a younger guy while racing motocross, and it was a place that was similar to Ocotillo. A lot of cliffs, and Rick Johnson actually spent a lot of time down there, too.
How about those giant jumps into just the chasms? Here we go. Uh-oh.
Same problem. Hit with the front tire. Now this is where I think we'll see Tommy think, I got to kind of turn this to the side.
He hasn't done the whip yet.
I don't think Tommy has the whip style similar to Renner and Carmichael.
So you're saying, you're kind of agreeing with what I'm saying, same as Deegan. He's more of, he's going to get it done, or?
I think Tommy has a good shot at getting it done because he's going to figure it out. He's an expert at this. We saw Brian make an adjustment. He hit it with his front wheel the first time and his rear wheel the second time. And I think Tommy did the same thing. So, you know, as I said earlier, once this bar gets really high, it becomes hard to get the distance.
Let me clarify something, Tess. We're kind of analyzing tough on some of these guys that doesn't have the finesse, the whip. I want to be clear that these guys are 5 of the best dirt bike riders in the world.
Yeah.
One of the 6 is sitting next to me right here. I mean, we're breaking it down to the nth degree for you guys to try to give you the reasonings behind who could or will win this thing. So I'm trying to save myself from getting punched out by Deegan.
Come on, Tommy. There we go. Get over. Oh! Wow. Well, he made an adjustment, too, and then just didn't get far enough out. So, well, what we're going to see now is the whip style going to take over, because maybe they're at a height where they can't get far enough out if they stay straight.
All right, guess what? 3 guys have missed, but they're not eliminated yet. But Ricky Carmichael could make them all cry like he's been doing to guys in motocross and supercross for years. We'll find out if Ricky and Renner can get over when we come. Well, he is here, 10-time AMA motocross champion, 150 combined supercross and motocross wins. We talked about that. And he's definitely a bad man when it comes to dirt bike riding. Let's go down to Kimberly, who is with RC.
All right, so Ricky, you've already landed 3 of your jumps. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel pretty good. You know, I'm up against a bunch of great guys, and it's pretty high. It feels higher than the numbers really say it is tonight. So, you know, I just got to hit it now, no holding back.
Now, you have the chance right now in this next jump to knock out 2 of your competitors. How high do you think you can go?
Well, I need to worry about clearing this. No one's cleared this height yet, but I think 33 might get the job done tonight for a gold medal.
All right, well, you've that chance to knock out 3 of your competitors, so good luck to you.
Thank you.
There you go, RC looking to put the choke on 3 different riders, and Deegan, Mason, and Clowers all hoping that RC doesn't put together. And check it out. There's a guy in the stands here in Staples Center on his computer. Just happens to be named Blake Williams, also known as Bilko. He is live right now on EXPN.com chatting.
Hey, he's double duty there. He was texting and emailing.
Hey, he's good, man. That's
talent.
That's tough right there. So log on at EXPN.com, chat with Bilko, hang out on TV, listen to us talk about Ricky Carmichael and Ronnie Renner. What do you think? Ricky Carmichael, 1 shot up and over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Stalled the bike, though. Wow. That was heavy. The bike was off when he landed.
Hey, take a look at this.
Wow.
Bye.
Goodbye.
The real question is, now Renner has to step into that spot.
Look at Clowers.
Crushed.
Look at the face on Clowers. Mason just like, I don't even care. Clowers was serious deal about this.
It's funny, you hear the videos of Twitch talking about RC doing this. He's like, man, just give him the gold medal now. It's pretty funny.
Right on the face there. It looked like he drifted over to the right, got a little bit of whip. See how hard that landing is, though.
And remember, he smashed his chin open really big in San Diego, but he keeps his face away from the bars. Look, here comes reaction for Brian Deegan.
Hey, it goes back to that graphic they showed, 480 pounds of like, on your back. And obviously Ricky did the same sort of thing he did in San Diego, but didn't eject off the bike.
All right, and this is where we are, people. Mason, Deegan, Clowers, bitey bye. Carmichael over 32 feet. Ronnie Renner has 2 shots to try to take it to the next level. If he can't make either of these shots, Ricky Carmichael has achieved gold in his rookie voyage into Step Up. What do you think? Is Renner getting over? I think Renner's getting over.
Oh, yeah. You know, Ricky, it was funny because Ricky said he thought 33 would get the job done, but what Ricky and Renner both just did there, I think they got a lot more than 33.
That's hard to say, Ricky and Renner. That actually happens to be Ronnie Renner's brother's name, Ricky Renner.
Yeah. RC and Ronnie Renner. RCRR.
All right, so it is stacked up. The greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael versus your defending gold medal champion in the step-up, Ronnie Renner. I am fired up. Jeremy McGrath here to tell us about it. Ricky
looking good.
Ricky almost bouncing off the bars there. It's going to be huge. The disappointment in Clower's face. We'll see who can do it when we come back.
Live from
at Moto X Step Up, and a battle that is very familiar to the Moto X World Championships, where Ronnie Renner and Ricky Carmichael did battle. Carmichael unable to complete things when he bashed his chin, but right now these guys are dead set to do it again head to head. Hey Cam, you think Renner's gonna hold off Ricky Carmichael for real?
Well, Sal, thanks for putting me on the spot, buddy. I thought we were friends and everything. I can tell you this, in the head-to-head battle between Jeremy McGrath and Matt Byton in 2004, they did 17 attempts.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man right now, I'm not sure. Where would you bet, MC?
I don't think they're going to go at it 17 times.
I don't think so either. Are we going to wobble into this, or are we going to pick a winner, all three of us? Who do you think's going to do it, Tess?
I'm going with RC. He's just looked so
RC
good.
for Tess.
The field the whole time.
MC?
Hey, Renner's he's the holder of the gold medal from 07, and he's a bit of an underdog. I mean, RC hasn't won this event yet. So, I mean, obviously, Tess, RC looks great, but...
Are you wobbling in, MC, or are you going to pick it?
I'm wobbling in.
Pick it.
I can't pick it.
Pick it.
I can't pick it.
Oh, man, we got a wobbler. Notice how I didn't pick either.
You didn't careful.
Yeah, we couldn't hold him to it.
In the 17 attempts with you, though.
Sideways, up and over.
All right.
That was so easy.
Your guess looks like a pretty safe bet there.
Yeah,
It feels good now.
I'm calling the underdog is Renner. I really think this is Carmichael's event right now. Renner has had some clean hits over the bar, but have you been watching how high Ricky has been clearing the bar by? How far is he over right there?
At least 5 feet, it looks like.
Okay, I really think that Ricky came here to win this event.
One of the things that Jeremy and I were talking about there in the break is the fact that Ricky's got this line where he's carving it up the face, because the face isn't real. I mean, this is a great build by Dane and his crew. The face is not degrading, so it's allowing them to go across those ruts, and he's just carving into that big whip. Renner should follow suit.
I think they are both taking the same line now. You can look over there across the field and look at the groove going up, and as we've seen in the past, Renner, he leans into that lip too, but man, that was very impressive with RC leaning into it. I mean, he was killer.
Definitely killer. Sports Center is coming up next, right after X Games 14, with all the day's sports news and highlights, plus coverage from here in Los Angeles. Of course, Manny Ramirez making his debut today in LA. Then at 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2, catch X Center, which will have all the goods from right here. People, don't kid around. A couple complete wrap-up of day 2 at X Games, which would include whoever is going to win this here Step Up Madness.
All right, we got Renner.
Have you gone out on a limb yet, Jeremy?
I believe he's going to make it.
Now, I don't want to get too crazy here, but Ricky Carmichael looked into his crystal ball a little bit earlier and said 33 feet is what it's going to take to win gold here. Renner just hit his first shot at 33. What do you think the odds are that this is it?
I think Renner's going to make some adjustments. I think he's going to make it.
I agree with you. I think Renner's going over 33. Yeah, is he headed back towards the pit stall?
He was doing adjustments by banging on the side of that rotational sign, so maybe things got knocked a little out of whack on that landing.
Yeah, I can tell you what happened is sometimes when you land really sideways like that, it just tweaks the triple clamps and the front wheel goes a little sideways. He'll get that straightened out right now and get right back.
He didn't seem too concerned. He was actually out back of the area there attacking dark main, so maybe he's trying to lighten the load on his mind.
What about the psyche, Jeremy? I mean, when you came in to Supercross, you had to race against your heroes. And right now, I mean, Ronnie's racing against a guy, you got to remember Ronnie Renner is a motocross racer first before he was a freestyler. Ricky Carmichael's got to be a guy he kind of idolizes. Is there mental pressure on him or no? Here we go. No.
Oh, he takes a bad crash. You know what? As much, you got to respect RC. I mean, RC's a great champion. Oh, we see Renner coming.
He tears the pole down. Throws it over Ricky Carmichael.
All right.
I think, you know what I really think when we look back at that? 2 great champions right there. Ricky Carmichael, gold medal, number 2 in his career of X Games. Of course, Moto X last year. There he is, the greatest of all time, the greatest at Step Up tonight.
Hey, he called it 33 feet.
33 feet. That's exactly what Ricky said, and he knew something that the rest of us probably didn't. I was thinking he might actually backflip off the landing there, but maybe that's his next venture at X Games.
A la Carl Edwards. I thought he was going to throw the helmet into the stands. But Ronnie, you got to remember, he came in banged up. His jaw's already swollen. Arm was hurting. We're not going to give him any excuses, but Ronnie Renner is a trooper for coming out here and throwing down.
And he's, regardless of this result, he's one of the best in the business.
I think he got a bad start, a bad jump. I think he should have stopped and gone back. Watch the front wheel come up when he takes off. Or maybe not. He really clipped the bar.
Oh, man, he landed hard.
It's fine. I don't think he did get the power because he just wasn't high enough to actually get the entire bike over the bar. Look at where he stalls out there.
Let's see. I want to get a look at the start. I think he had the wheel come up. Maybe he should have re-racked it. Watch.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look at it. He didn't go full-hearted at that. Probably had something to do with the takeoff.
I think he was kind of going to the side. Catches the bar.
That is one hard lick.
He is very lucky the bar is so forgiving, because if that was a solid piece of, say, metal trussing.
And Ricky is stoked that he won this thing. A little dance from Renner. And that's a hard landing, too, because he came down and landed on the cases. The suspension didn't take all of it up. So Ricky Carmichael is your gold medalist. You see it hanging out there. Ken Block, we'll be seeing him later in the rally racing during the weekend. We'll also see Jeremy McGrath, who's with me here, will be in Moto X Racing, qualifying with today and getting set for the main event. Lots of big action coming up here at the X Games. Jeremy, quickly, pretty insane, huh?
Yeah, pretty insane event. Of course, obviously we thought RC was going to do great, and he did.